Joining us now with what's trending around the world is OG Okpe.
Are we fine?
Don't worry. We'll discuss that off camera.
Debriefing. Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, Lord.
It's nice to see you here.
Nice to see you, yeah. Close proximity today, not like the...
Yeah, we're missing Tundun today.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we'll see her tomorrow.
Yeah, she'll be back.
All right. Well, good morning to you viewers. We begin what's trending in Sri Lanka with exciting news. A video of a Nigerian Monsignor, Brian Udaigwe, who was appointed back in June by Pope Francis as the new Vatican ambassador to the country, has made rounds on social media. In the video, Monsignor Udaigwe arrived in a royal motorcade and was greeted by the presidential envoy. He was attending a meeting where 4 other newly appointed ambassadors to Sri Lanka presented their credentials to the president of the country. Monsignor Udaigwe was ordained a priest on May 2nd, 1992, and was incarnated to Orlu, Nigeria. He holds a degree in canon law and entered diplomatic service in 1994. He has since served in the apostolic nunciature in Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Haiti, Bulgaria, Thailand, and Great Britain. I am always so proud of Nigerians doing great overseas. You know, even though he was born in Cameroon in 1964, we embrace him as, Nigerian. Obviously, he's been doing so well over the years. He was, ordained in 1992 in Orlu. And as an Igbo woman, I'm very, very proud of his, achievements. At the meeting, the ambassadors, talked about the growth of Sri Lanka, especially given the fact that, Sri Lanka as economy had weakened because of terrorism. And they also commended the president and the people of Sri Lanka for, the way that they're controlling the COVID-19, as they have, almost very low rate of COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. Really proud of him.
I mean, quite very proud of an exciting prospect there that the Nigerian is doing quite well. But it's not today. Nigerians have always done well in the Catholic fold. I mean, if you remember Father Townsend, you remember Father Arinze, you remember Cardinal Lubumi Okoje. These are great Nigerians that have done well in the Catholic fold and that have helped to advance the Catholic fold. And let's not forget that Vatican City, it's a nation of its own, just quite one of about the smallest nation on earth. And he's an envoy because of what he does in the Catholic fold and is out to Sri Lanka. It was a great meeting of minds, with the president of Sri Lanka yesterday, submitting this. And this is a normal service that most ambassadors will do. They will go out there
and present their
credentials to the president. Wish him a very good time in Sri Lanka. Like he said, there are very many challenges in Sri Lanka, challenges of insecurity. Let's not forget that Sri Lanka just came out of a long war, with the Tamil Nadu tribes, and that war went on for a while, that they finally ended. But it's still sort of like uneasy calm in Sri Lanka. You have great factors around terrorist attacks that still affect the economy very strongly, because Sri Lanka is a country that really depends on, import of foreigners, coming for tourism of some sort. They've got great tea. Ceylon tea is Sri Lankan and the likes, and they have other very exciting sites. So those are the things they've talked about in Sri Lanka, and I just hope he has a good stay in Sri Lanka. But I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
A lot of Nigerians have done well in the Catholic fold, like I mentioned this week. Even they have risen to be, top people as much as a cardinal, at some point, and that's about the highest you can rise, because after you're a cardinal, then if there's a process, there's an enclave, considering maybe there's a requirement for a new pope, you can be considered for that. But for me, the greatest joy for me will be when Nigeria finally have its first pope. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, why not? Everything
Pope of the Catholic Church.
We're
looking forward to that.
Everything is possible.
The first black pope.
Well, Nigeria has a large Catholic community.
Yes.
And for that reason, each time anybody within the Catholic community in Nigeria is either seconded to the Vatican or is given an appointment, Nigerians are excited, because, it's a big achievement to have in Nigeria at the highest level within the Catholic community. Now, you recall when Francis Cardinal Arinze was appointed, to a special position in the Vatican. It was like every Nigerian had won a lottery When I say every Nigerian now, I'm referring basically to the Christian community.
Yes.
But in this case, you know, an ambassadorial appointment is just a routine thing. But I know why Nigerians are excited. The Pope is head of a state,
yes.
you know, and he can send ambassadors to any part of the world. What you saw him there doing, he was presenting his letters of accreditation.
Yes.
Before then, there would have been an agreement, and you know, the government of Sri Lanka would have agreed. And you could see that it's a very short, brief
process
ceremony.
Well, now, the governor of Kaduna State, Nasser El-Rufai, on Wednesday, appointed a new Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Ahmed Nuhu Bamali. He's the 19th Emir of Zazzau and succeeds Alhaji Shehu Idris, who died last month after reigning for 45 years. The new Emir is the first Emir from the Malawa ruling house in 100 years. The 54-year-old is a lawyer and holds a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy and a diploma in organizational leadership. Until his appointment as the Emir of Zazzau, Bamali held the title of Maganjin Garin Zazzau and served as Nigeria's ambassador to Thailand with concurrent accreditation to Myanmar. Congratulations are in order for the new Emir, right? His emergence has been, you know, well received. You know, it's amazing that he's the first Emir in that ruling house in 100 years. I mean, I heard you say that, you know, justice had been served during the newspaper review. I thought that was really one amazing input to that.
I mean, very exciting one. He was as ambassador to Thailand and also Myanmar.
Yes.
Justice has been served in the sense that his name was first excluded, you know, from the initial...
From the first list.
For the first list until the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, did say, oh, we have to have a second list, and he emerged from this, and it was quite a good one. But it's quite a rounded man. I mean, that's the exciting part from him. He's a Shepman Fellow. He had his education, you know, in variegated places abroad, and also something that ticked me more is the roundedness of this man. Is from the north, and he, at some point, I think he got an MBA from ESUT, that's Enugu State University of Science and Technology.
Yes, his credentials are quite outstanding.
So it just shows how rounded he is as a person, and also serving in ambassadorial position, interfacing with the government of Thailand and also the country Myanmar. We all know the struggles of Burma, or Myanmar as it is called today, and how he's been able to interface on behalf of Nigeria in those countries. May his reign be long. We wish him the very best, but most importantly, we pray for the wisdom that it takes for a king, because something that was talked about Shehu Idris, the last Emir of Zazzau, was his wisdom at which he brought everybody together, that you had the privilege to meet at some point,
yes.
And you talked very glowingly about his wisdom. So we pray for the same wisdom, you know, to be able to lead, you know, the people of Zaria to a new age. It's a great age, it's a technological age. And this fortress have been there since the 14th, 15th, 16th century, and how it will continue to lead the way and help the people integrate, and most importantly, bring much needed development. Because what is it called, might not have executive powers,
right.
You know, a traditional ruler, but there's a way of influencing things he can bring, and he can use his influence to bring a lot of things to his community and help for the advancement of the young people in his community. So congratulations to him, very well deserved. Wish him the very best.
Yes, I've always loved the you know, the traditional in Nigeria, but there's always that controversy, Dr. Abati, when there are different ruling houses, right?
Well, I mean, people keep referring to the fact that, you know, there was first a short list of 4. We did not include his name. In fact, there was one evening when there was a story circulating that a new Emir of Zazzau had emerged. And, you know, people keep saying, which was the point I was referring to when they first brought the story. People keep saying, oh, this is the governor, Nasir El-Rufai, who has chosen the Emir of Zazzau. No, the governor gives the staff of office, confirms the authority, you know, in line with the relevant laws. The truth of the matter is that there is a council of kingmakers within the community, and it's the council of kingmakers that have taken this decision. And that's why that decision has been well received. Now, I mentioned justice, I mentioned fair play.
Yes.
In the past 100 years, he will be the first person from his lineage, you know, to emerge. Yes. So that in itself sends a very strong signal that, yes, it's one family with many branches, but at least justice has been done. Secondly, in terms of his experience, yes, he is very cosmopolitan. He has worked both in the public service and also in the private sector, and is very well educated. In fact, one publication described him even as a scholar,
yes.
Because of the range of his qualifications, international affairs and diplomacy, law, and several other areas of specialization. And what is important is the fact that he has been part of that traditional system, so he's well prepared for the new task that he has been given. Don't forget that he was Magajingari Zazzau for about 10 years, deputizing for his father, who first held that title. But, later, for about 10 years, he was the one interfacing with the public, with the community. When his father died, he then succeeded to that position as the Magajingari. And he's very well known within the community, not just for being a community man, but also for his philanthropy, his common touch. So there's therefore that excitement that he will provide the leadership that is necessary, and that going forward, he will be also a symbol of justice and fair play, which is the process that has brought him to the throne.
We'll take another story still in Nigeria. As many celebrities continue to lend their voices to the EndSARS campaign, Afrobeat musician Seun Kuti has expressed his views on the attitude of security operatives, including the Nigerian army. In a now viral video, the musician said security operatives in Nigeria were created to kill black people and protect Western interests. Let's take a look at this video before we come back for a discussion.
They just don't want you to love. Don't you understand? Because the moment you love yourself truly, you will never allow any rubbish. You will never stand in a bus stop and see only 3 policemen beating your brother or somebody of your community, and you'll be looking, filming, begging them. You can never beg your oppressor for your freedom. You have to fight him for it, me. My father lost a house and a mother. Do you know what I will? Which is police, na SARS do am. She na SARS born Kalakuta. Was there SARS when Kalakuta was burned down? Let's say that today starts. Isaac Boro, if there are Niger Delta people here, they will tell you who Isaac Boro is in this country. Isaac Boro was the first man to stand up as an indigenous of Nigeria to fight imperialism directly, militarily. Isaac Boro started fighting Shell for what they were doing in Niger Delta in 1956. 1956. Do you know the people that went to fight and arrest him and kill the people for fighting Shell? Nigerian army. It was the Nigerian army that Shell sent with Shell gunboats to go and decimate the people of the Niger Delta fighting for their rights. Your army was sent by Shell, a foreign company. The Nigerian army and police was created to kill black people to protect Western interests. Nothing has been done to change that. The way Nigeria gun was created to exploit our labor and our resources for the interest of Europeans, and nothing has been done to change that. All our leaders want to do is collect their share out of it. That's the leadership you have. That's why you can't stop. Because they are content with their share of your oppression. That's why every generation, thousands and millions of us fall into poverty, whether you like it or not. But if people are here joking, doing bullshit, playing with your life, following anybody that just comes, because you don't love yourself. They've trained you not to love yourself. So as you don't love yourself, you can never demand the best for yourself. Then when people are trying to tell you, you be getting there. I told one people, when they started, they came to me and I said, SARS, is it SARS that is burning old women on the street every day because they are witches? Is it SARS that is doing that?
I love his message. Seun has been an advocate for change for several years. We can say that he inherited his activism from the late Afrobeat legend, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, who's always talked about, the change of mindset. I can just relate this conversation to the song, Bob Marley's song, Emancipate Yourself from Mental Slavery. I think that he just hit the nail on the head when he talked about the fact that we have to understand that we have to fight for ourselves. Black people fight for your country. That idea of nationalism, we have to continue to.
I mean, what he's just saying, he's just in effect reiterating what we talked about yesterday. If you heard the interview we had here with Professor Usman and also with Professor Berry, where we talked about the class system, the leadership system, those at the top and those below. And we've constantly had infractions like this with police. I mean, the first major one I remember was about, I think, 1947 or 48. It was called Iva Valley Massacre. There was a mine in Enugu called the Colliery Mine, and workers and strikers were protesting, and the police got in there and they killed about 50 to 100 of them. That led to the Fitzgerald Commission, where Daddy Oyema featured very prominently, and that case led to many things in this country. In fact, they'll say the wounds of that case have not been healed till date. We also had the likes of Isaac Adakaboro, like he said, that declared it's sort of like an agitator republic and went a standoff. But we know the story with Isaac Adakaboro was further absorbed into the army, and he died, I think, during the Civil War. And we've had cases like that continue. I mean, it just pretty much talks about the class system, the fact that there's a leadership and there's a class system and there's a followership. But I mean, like, I think it was Dele Farutimi that asked a very important question, that are we citizens in this country? And except we start to have a sense of belonging as citizens, then nothing will move forward. And that has also segued into the calls for, restructuring that we've been talking about in the country, making the country viable to the parts, quelling the grievances as it might be. So it's just a reflection of the conversation on the class system that, hey, these people are on the leadership class and they look down on the citizenry this way, hence for many agitation, which the president even further talked about, when he talked about fault lines, although he said artificial fault lines at this presidential day speech. Yeah.
Well, quickly, I mean, we're talking about the police as an institution.
Yes.
Police brutality in Nigeria, and how the crisis within the police as an institution is systemic. I mean, the point has been well made that even if you reform SARS or you ban SARS, how about other policemen? Even if you move the SARS officials to another unit, there is a culture of impunity that seems to be well established in Nigeria within the institutions. And the police as an institution that's supposed to protect life and property has become, a symbol for oppression. So when Seun Kuti says we should fight back, yes, people have been fighting back. This EndSARS campaign has been on now for almost 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
And yet, nothing has happened. We've complained about how one Inspector General of Police after the other will give directives, but nothing will happen. In fact, this week, there have even been reports of brutality by members of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, creating an impression that the chain of command within the police is not effective in communicating from the top to the rank and file. However, Seun Kuti is not the only artist that has shown interest in this matter. Naira Marley has a different opinion, for example. Naira Marley is saying, well, don't ban SARS. This is a problem caused by a few bad eggs. But other people have a different opinion. There is Runtown, there is Wizkid, also musicians who have been saying they will lead protests. And we've seen in the last 3 days, protests in different parts of the country, people protesting, complaining that something has to be done about the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. If that is what he means, by people fighting back, yes, it makes sense, because you have a right to protest about injustice in your country. If you don't speak up, then of course it means you are condoning injustice.
Absolutely.
You are accommodating impunity and brutality. And we just hope that the police hierarchy will listen to these concerns being expressed with regard to the integrity of the police as an institution. We've been talking about police reform. There is even a Police Reform Act that has been passed by the National Assembly. When are we going to see the effect in real terms, and the police can truly become a friend of the people? Well, thank you very much, Oji.
Thank you, Dr. Abati.
That's all we'll be able to take.
Yes, I wish we had more time.
That was trending today.